Hello friends, there is a bombshell revelation from Senator Victor Umeh from Anambra State, who serves in the red chambers. He is saying that the executive arm of the government, that's the presidency, shared $10,000 each to 42 senators of the red chambers. That means each senator collected $10,000 to endorse the state of emergency that was declared in Rivers State. It goes to show that the people that are supposed to formulate the laws are being controlled by bribes. Because based on what we are told, the executive has no right whatsoever to declare such an emergency in a state where there was no breakdown of law and order. But they went ahead to act ultra vires and declared martial law, in which the governor was forcefully removed from office and sole administrator planted to do the illegitimate work of the presidency. Now, when we are growing up in secondary school, we are told that we have the principle of checks and balances. We have the principle of separation of powers. We also have this principle of supremacy of law. Now, if you come to checks and balances, each of the arms of the government is supposed to checkmate the other one, so that at ultra vires. Now, the three arms of the government, the legislative arm, the executive, and judicial arm of government, are supposed to function independently of one another. And it is the same thing as the government is supposed to checkmate the excesses of any of these three. So now the executive has acted ultra vires. It is the responsibility of the court, which falls under the judicial arm of government, or the legislative arm, that is the parliamentarians or the senators, the House of Rep members that fall under legislature, to intervene and say, Mr. President, what you did was unconstitutional, and put a stop to it, as prescribed by former President Goodluck Jonathan, who said that there was an Indian proverb that said that you can easily wake up somebody who is seriously sleeping, but you cannot wake up somebody who is pretending to be sleeping. So when you don't obey the rule of law, when there's no rule of law, that country goes into a problem that could metamorphose into anarchy. So now the executive is bribing the legislature that's supposed to control the actions or the excesses of the president of the executive arm. And the court that's supposed to stop this illegality is doing nothing to checkmate the powers of the executive. That's why you have the three arms of the government. Each one is to checkmate the excesses of the other. So now the president had acted ultra vires. It is the responsibility of the legislative arm and the judicial arm to say, no, this is not the law. This is unconstitutional. You stop it and restore law and order. But it was not done. What does it suggest? It suggests that this is a lawless nation. So in order to have his way, he had to bribe the senators who do not have conscience to stand up for what is right. But Victor Umeh said, I'm not going to collect this because I have conscience. We must do the right thing. We must follow the rule of law so that the country can move forward. Now they are bribing the legislators. They are bribing the judicial officers, like the judges and high courts. That's why Wiki can easily rush to Supreme Court or wherever and obtain a judgment. Because once they say money, they change the law. Supreme Court in recent years has issued diverse and different judgments that are not in accordance with the rule of law. Many of the appeal courts are not giving judgments that are rooted in the Constitution. This is an invitation to anarchy. Bribing legislative arm of the government, bribing the judicial arm of the government in order to achieve certain desired ends is a testament that that country will never move forward. There is no way Nigeria will move from a state of mediocrity to the greatness it deserves, because the rule of law is not followed. And that is why Nigerians are not respected at the international airports of many countries. That green passport is a cause, because they know quite well that nobody obeys the law, and no foreign investors can come to Nigeria to invest, because if that issues and go to court, the court will pronounce rubbish. So the legislators have no respect. The judges and presiding officers, the lawyers, the whatever you call them, from judicial arm, they don't have respect. Nobody is interested to uphold the rule of law. Nobody is interested to observe the checks and balances that is enshrined in the Constitution. And nobody is interested to sustain the separation of powers. All they want is money, 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 money. In some countries, you cannot even contemplate to bribe the legislators. In the same country, you can't even contemplate to bribe the judicial arm of the government in order to checkmate one another. That is the essence of democracy. The government of the people, by the people, and for the people. I stop here and have a good day.